Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tracy Mayhew and I write contemporary romances set here in the UK and YA fantasy based on myths and legends. I also, when I've read an indie book, do a review on this channel as part of my indie author book club, and you can watch the rest of the series up there in the cards. I'll leave a link somewhere up there if you want to go back and have a look at some of the other indie books that I've read. But this time I am reviewing Pendragon Rising, The Heir of the Lance by J.A. Graham. And I have to say, I am very excited to be talking about this book because this book kind of happened across this book by accident. It popped up one day on my Insta feed. He was asking for reviews and it was an Arthurian legend book. And if you know anything about me, you can see my Arthurian, the Arthurian books that I've written myself. You know I love Arthurian legends. So as soon as this came up, I was like, I've got to read this book. I've got to be part of the ARC team and I've got to spread the word about this book. So I had very high expectations for this book and this series. This is the first, I think, in a 5-book series. So lots more to come as well. And I think the second book is going to be published quite soon. So I'm looking forward to that. But without further ado, let's crack on with the review. Okay, this is future editing Tracy hopping on just to say that all the information for this book, and if you want to follow J.A. Graham, will be down below in the description box. So if you want the book links, if you want to follow J.A. Graham on Instagram, which I highly recommend you do, you will find all the information down below. So without further ado, let's get to the review. So first things first, it opens with a prologue. Now, some people are a little bit funny about prologues. I personally love prologues. I think if they're done well, they can be a real bonus to the story. And J.A. Graham did this really well. He sort of sets the scene with how King Arthur dies. It's sort of this final epic battle between the forces of King Arthur and the forces of Mordred. And so that sort of sets the scene up for the rest of the story. The world building in this book is imaginative. I really enjoyed it. It's really vivid. He draws vivid comparisons between the world of King Arthur and the world of Mordred, and just the juxtaposition of those two worlds was really nice to read. Well, not nice because obviously the world of Mordred afterwards was not a nice place, but it was nice to see that that comparison being made, and it really set up the scene for the main character Arthurian and his life and sort of like his journey to becoming a knight. The whole of this book starts with Arthurian, the main character. He is a squire, but he wants to become a knight of the realm. So he sets off to Camelot to compete in a series of competitions. Now, I love this because this is very similar to the way that King Arthur himself, when he was 16, became the king. So I love the similarity between Arryn's journey and the journey of King Arthur years before. I like that little nod to the original legend. The competition scenes themselves were really fast paced. You got into Arryn's head quite a lot. He's such a likeable character. I'll talk about characters in a minute, but he's such a likeable character. So being with him through each of the stages of the competitions, watching as other people took part in the competitions and he was watching them, I really enjoyed it. You got to know some of the other characters. I'm sitting there reading it thinking, oh, is this one going to join his little group and become like a friend of Arryn? Is she going to become part of Arryn's team, if you like? That was really nice to see that kind of build up. But you also had the ones that you didn't want them to win at all because they were just horrible people. There were just some horrible people in these competitions that you just wanted them to get out of the first round or whatever. But yeah, he was just like booing and hissing with the best of them. So let's talk about the cast of characters. I really felt there was a real mix. I'm not going to talk too much about some of the characters because there was one character in particular who I thought was one person, but he turned out to be someone else. So that was a nice twist, and I don't want to ruin that for anybody. But the new cast of characters, Arryn, Shyla and Van, they were really lovely. I really enjoyed, particularly Shyla. I really liked Shyla right from the first moment of seeing her. We see her quite early on and she takes a liking to Arryn. And Arryn, he's really sweet with her. Like I don't think he quite knows what to make of her. Like she's very friendly, very outgoing, and he kind of is a bit more reserved. And I like that I like that kind of push and pull between them. There were other characters that appeared that I wanted to see them develop, but for various reasons we didn't get that. And there were moments when I was sitting on the edge of my seat and I think at one point I even let out a no because something terrible happened, and I was really rooted in to the characters and to the battles and everything that was going on. So J.A. Graham did a really good job of creating a world that I felt a part of. Let's talk about Van for a moment. I love any character that has magic attached to them, and Van is really sweet but a little bit hapless. He's a little bit clumsy with his magic, and he's got a long way to go, I think, and he's going to be very powerful, I reckon, as the series develops. I'm really looking forward to seeing him grow as a character. I'm looking forward to seeing Arthurian grow as a character. There are moments there where you feel his uncertainty about what lies ahead for him, but obviously he's got the makings of a great main character. Overall, this was a really good, really imaginative, fresh take on a classic legend. You never know with an Arthurian legend if it's going to be a good retelling or if it's going to lack certain things, but for me personally, this is the first book of a series that I want to read more of. It didn't lack anything for me. I was a bit surprised that it wasn't a sword in the stone, but also at the same time, it's a lance in the stone, and I like that. It was a fresh take. You don't have to carbon copy everything from the original legend. So overall, really, although I was slightly disappointed at first about there not being a sword, it didn't, like I say, it didn't really affect me. This is still like a 5-star review for me. If you like Arthurian legends, if you like those classic tales of the Knights of the Round Table, then I would highly recommend this book. I'm locked in, so I just can't wait to the next book. So that's it for this Indie Author Book Club review. I will see you in the next one. I'm not sure when that will be, but it will be soon. Until then, you can check out the rest of my book club picks here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.